The city council meeting to order. If you could all rise for a moment of silence, please. Thank you. If you could turn and face the flag for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Clerk, would you call the roll of council members?
Lehman, Podak,
Here.
Cassidy,
Here.
Baker, Grine,
Here.
Mendoza,
Here.
Guernsey.
Here. Move to excuse Councilperson Baker and Councilperson Lehman.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Mendoza, a second by Cassidy to excuse Lehman and Baker. Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Podak,
Yes.
Cassidy,
Yes.
Grine,
Yes.
Mendoza,
Yes.
Guernsey.
Yes.
All right, council members Lehman and Baker have been excused. Minutes of the previous meeting.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Mendoza, a second by Podak to approve the minutes. Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Podak,
Yes.
Cassidy,
Yes.
Grine,
Abstain.
Mendoza,
Yes.
Guernsey.
Yes.
Those do carry. Communications.
I have none.
All right, going to report of committees. Finance Committee.
We had our monthly Finance Committee meeting this evening. We made a review of the year-end financials. Couple highlights. We've got a balance in the general fund. No. We've got a balance in the bank. Roughly $23,160,000. Of that, we have $4.5 million encumbered or earmarked for something already. And it gives us a bank balance after that of about $18.6 million. So we're looking pretty good for the start of the year. We are going to move our February, typically the last meeting in February for Finance Committee, to the first meeting in February, which is going to be February 3rd. We are also probably going to have another Finance Committee meeting on February 17th, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yes.
And the purpose for that second meeting be focused on some discussions and some things regarding the replacement, the hiring of a new finance director. I've handed out sheets for everyone. That is a brochure that's been drawn up that could be sent out to attract potential candidates for a finance director position. I would like to spend a few minutes with council as a whole going over the details of this brochure, seeking ideas, corrections, anything you see in this. Give you a couple minutes to review it and then we'll go into discussion on it.
I got a couple for you.
Okay.
Looks like on the first under community, starting in the second paragraph in 2016,
Mhm.
second line down after city, it looks like there's a period there that's shouldn't be there. Where it says the city proactively self-reported fiscal distress. I don't think you want that there.
Okay.
On the back side, under qualifications, just a duplicate there. Experience with understanding of operating software and procedures is listed twice.
Yep.
Back on the front, we're all-inclusive playground. Maybe it's just my lifestyle, but all-inclusive means something different. Like, and it's just, what I've heard it referred to as just inclusive playground. not all inclusive usually means like everything included. This is like inclusive for people. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I don't think all inclusive is the right framing, but I could be wrong. I think it would just be inclusive for playground.
I think from the start of this project, it was referred to as all-inclusive.
Is it
I think.
all inclusive? What I'm used to is like at a resort or something like that, where everything is included in it. But perhaps it is. We can maybe reach out to the Wood County folks and see what they think. That's all I had.
I'm with you now. I know. Yeah. Go to the splash pad, right? Go to the all-inclusive playground. We got a buffet lunch for you.
Well, I'd like to thank Councilperson
Layman?
Lehman for her work on this. I know she checked in with us on some things, and I'm sure she checked in with Steve, but it's pretty detailed. There is another that's not attached to it as far as the timeline that we're trying to follow to get this all done with at this point, a March 17th recommendation to council to hire. So from today till March 17th is not really that long to get something this important done. So it's kind of on the fast track. So if you find anything else in that brochure, let us know. Or if you think there's something that should be included in there.
I guess our goal with this hopefully is to attract some good applicants. I know that if we hire the right individual for this job, they'll be trained right. Feel very confident that we're going to continue with the same continuity we've got right now.
Anybody else? Good.
And we'll move on.
So from a technical standpoint, I see that we have the tentative timeline is to announce the vacancy on the 2nd of February. Is that still the tentative
To do what?
time to announce the vacancy? Which I'm assuming would mean that this
Yes.
is in its
Actually,
final form.
It's the 3rd.
Is it the 3rd? Are we planning on acting on a final version on this on the 3rd? And then announcing it, or are we planning on announcing it
Announcement
prior
goes,
to
actually the announcement's the 5th.
Okay, so we're good. We can adopt a final form of this the next
Yes.
council meeting.
Mhm.
Because I was getting it, if we were gonna do it on the 2nd, we need to basically give your committee permission to finish this, but you'll have a final draft at the next council meeting to,
Right,
Right.
looks good, move forward, perfect.
right.
Okay,
So when we look at the first week in February, it's going to be a very important time for the city. We'll have our regular council meeting and finance committee meeting on the 3rd.
Right.
On the 4th, we meet with the state.
okay,
And then on the 5th, we roll out with the formal announcement. So,
perfect. Excellent. All right. Does anybody else have any questions for the finance committee? Does the finance committee have anything else for us this evening? All right. Seeing nothing, thank you very much, finance committee. Public affairs committee.
Public Affairs Committee met this evening. We assigned roles and new processes, including using video meeting minutes. We are planning to host our first quarter convos with council on Thursday, March 5th at 6:30 p.m. pending location confirmation. Furthermore, Seneca County Welcome Home Ohio Housing Program is hosting an informational event at the Kabish Memorial Public Library on January 24th from noon to 1:30. to help provide information about the program requirements and eligibility. This initiative, funded by the Ohio Department of Development, aims to help qualified individuals and families achieve home ownership through the construction and sale of 5 new homes in Fostoria. Thank you. That is all.
Great, thank you. Law and Ordinance Committee.
The Law and Ordinance Committee met this evening. We moved to remove the role of secretary and to use video meeting minutes in lieu of paper. We also approved an ordinance for low-speed micromobility devices that will be presented to all of council for a first reading at our next regularly scheduled council meeting. The Law and Ordinance Committee will meet again on Tuesday, February 10th at 5:15 here in council chambers. Thank you.
Thank you. Report of officers, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Ohio Health Department mobile unit will be at the Fostoria Learning Center on Monday, February 9th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. to provide health screenings, flu shots, etc. And NCAT will provide free transportation from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. to those needing transportation. That should be published very soon, and you should see advertisements for it. I also handed out to each of you tonight Better Buildings Northwest Ohio. We've invited Dana Clark from the Toledo-Lucas County Port Authority to our next council meeting to explain the Property Assessed Clean Energy Program, also known as PACE, PACE financing, for the Better Buildings Northwest Ohio program. We will also have legislation to introduce that program at the next council meeting, and we will be looking to make the entire city of Fostoria eligible for PACE financing. Thank you.
I have a question. Would that take away from the revolving loan fund through, I want to say FEDC, but is that
No, it'll be a totally separate program.
in addition to?
In addition to, yeah, PACE financing is for efficient energy implementation.
Okay,
So if you're remodeling a building or a home, you can use it to replace the HVAC system or windows or lighting, that type of thing. So it's a specific use financing program.
Thank you. Acting Director of Public Service and Safety.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm obviously filling in for Mr. Keckler tonight, and I thought it would be a good time to touch base in person on the See My Legacy campaign. I emailed everybody on council sometime last week about See My Legacy, which is something new that the city of Fostoria is putting into effect. This is basically a one-pager campaign for fundraising, sponsorship, memorial benches and trees, things of that nature that will be implemented into our Facebook and then our city website page. Basically, it's an online community and engagement fundraising platform. It's not really changing anything that we currently do. It's just modernizing how we do it and how people connect with city initiatives. A few things that will be soft launching hopefully later this week are things like the Easter egg scramble, the 4th of July fireworks, and then the glass pageant. Basically, people can go in, click on the event, read what the event is, see event details, and then see different donation levels that they can make. And then from there, it automatically generates, thank yous and lists donations that have been made. So just kind of an easy way and platform to modernize, instead of taking in money and writing handwritten receipts and sending out letters all the time. We can just now share this link with businesses and residents so they can see what they can do to support Fostoria events. That is pretty much all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Director of Law.
Thank you. I have no report tonight.
Director of Finance.
Just a couple quick updates. We did close 2025. Our W-2s and 1099s were generated last week, so 2025 is in the rearview mirror for the most part. We do have some legislation tonight to clear up some budget items that we put through. And in looking at that legislation, the first thing you'll know in the drafts that went out, the ordinance that we are amending is 2025-83. So you may want to include that. And going forward all year long, as we adjust our permanent appropriations, that is the legislation we are adjusting each time. More specific details, the first item, we are going to appropriate an increase into our transfers out from the general fund by $378,000. And you'll see later on in section 3 where those dollars are going, and I'll explain those as we get down there. The $7,000 appropriation, I am embarrassed to say that's for the auditor's office. We are assigning computer maintenance costs by department, and the auditor's office never had that account in the past. We put it in our budget, but we never really got it into the permanent appropriations. So embarrassing that the shoemaker has holes in their shoes. So that $7,000 is for the auditor's office share of the computer maintenance agreement. The next item, the $11,410,000, is to make sure that we have enough money in the permissive and state highway funds. And so it's really just what I would call, from an accounting perspective, a reclass. We're moving dollars from one fund to another to make sure that we can certify we have enough dollars in our budget for 2026. The $42,000 decrease in the Brownfield grant, again, we have to estimate how much we're going to spend back in August of 2025 for 2026. We did spend those $42,000 already, so we need to decrease this year's appropriations. We can't spend them twice. The $46,000 increase in appropriations in the Park and Rec Fund is actually to spend dollars on shade tarps for the splash pad. A donation was made through Vision 2020 to cover this cost. So I will work with the county auditor to let them know we have $46,000 more in the park fund, and you guys are approving the expense of that in this appropriation. The decrease in our CHIP funds, again, we can't spend those dollars twice. Those were dollars spent in the second half of 2025 that we did not know we were going to spend, and so this is reducing those appropriations. The same is holding true for the next two items. So those are just making sure we don't overspend our grant funds. The other decrease in the FEMA grant fund, we did pay back that advance of $160,000 from the general fund. We paid that back in December back to the general fund. So again, we don't want to do it twice. And then the third, section 3, is where are we transferring the $378,000 to? A majority of that is going to Park and Recs. And again, the Park and Rec Fund should be a zero balance fund at the end of every year. And as we estimate what we're going to spend in the second half of the year. Now, understand, we are increasing the appropriations, and it's really more a compliance issue to make sure on paper we are not going negative. It doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to need those appropriations transferred out of the general into the park fund. Again, it was because of how we estimate it. And the same with the infrastructure fund. So these are budget cleanup items. We did them last year. I told the finance committee one way to get around this, a number of organizations will pass temporary appropriations to get them through the first 3 months of the year and then clean it all up with permanent appropriations in February or March. We do permanent appropriations in December. This is our cleanup to that. So these are not unusual items. It's just part of the accounting process, and I apologize.
Thank you. All right. This time we will move into the public portion of the meeting. At this time, if you're a member of the public and wish to address council on anything, you may approach the dais, the microphone, and state your name and address for the record, and limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. Seeing nobody, will move into old business.
An ordinance authorizing the city of Fostoria to participate in the Discover Card Merchant Class Action Settlement and declaring an emergency to exist.
Are there any motions on the floor for this, given that this is the third reading of this ordinance?
Move to adopt.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to adopt by Podak, a second by Cassidy. Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Podak,
Yes.
Cassidy,
Yes.
Grine,
Yes.
Mendoza,
Yes.
Guernsey.
Yes.
Right, that does carry. It becomes ordinance number 2026-02. That concludes old business. We'll move into new business. Just an announcement before we start new business. We do not have enough council members to suspend the 3 reading rule this evening. So we will just have readings this evening on any of the new business and can do no action on them, then hear the reading.
An ordinance to adopt pursuant to section 911.01-911.02 of the codified ordinances of the city of Fostoria, Ohio, the petition to vacate a portion of Roby Court in the 3rd Ward of the city of Fostoria.
Right, that was the first reading of that ordinance.
An ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Service and Safety to negotiate and enter into a contract with Bascom Joint Fire District and Bascom Joint Ambulance District, Seneca County, Ohio, for the provision of emergency medical services and declaring an emergency to exist.
That was the first reading of that ordinance.
A resolution authorizing the disposal of personal property, motor vehicles, road machinery, equipment, tools, or supplies which are not needed for public use or are obsolete or unfit to be sold by internet auction in calendar year 2026 and declaring an emergency to exist.
That was the first reading of the resolution.
An ordinance adopting and amending ordinance number 2025-83, permanent 2026 appropriations by decreasing appropriations and appropriating from unappropriated funds in the general fund, permissive MVL fund, brownfield fund, park and recreation fund, CHIP 2025 fund, and FEMA fire grant fund, and transferring funds from the general fund to the street construction, maintenance, and repair fund, Park and Recreation Fund, and Capital Infrastructure Fund, and declaring an emergency to exist.
That was the first reading of that ordinance and concludes new business. We have, again, not enough council people go into executive session, so we'll move into miscellaneous business. I have a piece of miscellaneous business. If you guys receive an email from me with my name on it, make sure you check the email addresses. We do have some phishing, smishing, whatever they call that stuff going around, but also let you and the citizens know that I will never, ever reach out to ask you for money in my capacity as president of city council. Certainly will not be asking for Venmo and whatever other things. And my email address is not Charlie with a bunch of numbers after it. So that did happen yesterday morning or this morning. I couldn't tell which, but also just being careful. Don't click forward, send, or do any actions on those emails if they look fishy. They could be. It's probably better to not act on something that looks fishy and find out later it wasn't than to act on something that looks fishy and then not be able to fix whatever happens as a result. Unfortunately, that's the world that we live in today. So, and then anybody else have miscellaneous
I
business?
just had a question I should have asked during the reports, but where we setting salt wise? I hear there's like a salt shortage from some areas of the state. I could care less about that. How's Fostoria?
Yeah, I think I've heard that the last 3 years.
Yeah.
I think we're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, we did secure a contract with Morton Salt, so, I mean, I see all the bills that come through and they've had no trouble getting us what we're contracted for. I can't tell you the exact amount, but we haven't had any supply issues.
And the other one along the same line, I'm sure the water department's had some main breaks with it being as cold as it is, and they're gonna have more. So I'd like to just thank them for their hard work. I seen them going out yesterday morning when I was headed to the office, and not the job I'd wanna have, but I appreciate what they do.
I think in conjunction with this topic, I think that the city of Fostoria, the street department, all the employees have done an excellent job keeping the streets safe to drive on. And hopefully, another few weeks, they won't have to plow any more snow for the year.
And that's a good part because it really does help the safety departments, the police and fire, if they have to go somewhere, means the streets got cleaned up. And so we appreciate all that and trying to keep everybody safe.
Probably a piggyback off of that is thinking about kids hopefully going back to school tomorrow because they've had kind of an extended break the last several days. But we do have ordinances in effect to clean the sidewalks, and we are past 24 hours of the last snow event. And I did notice quite a bit of sidewalks, and that's usually one of the decision makers that our school district looks at is, can the kids get to school without walking through a bunch of snow because people clean their sidewalks? So please do your part as citizens and clean up those sidewalks so the kids don't have to traipse through the snow to get to school. So, any other miscellaneous business?
I would like to correct my law and ordinance report that we'll meet again on Tuesday, February 10th. That's incorrect. We will meet again on Tuesday, February 17th at 5:15 here in council chambers.
Okay. And so all the three committees are going to meet on the 17th. Is that right or not, the public affairs?
Not public affairs.
Okay, so law and ordinance, finance on the 17th, and then finance is also going to meet on the 3rd. So, perfect. Any other miscellaneous tonight? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Cassidy, a second by Grine. Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Podak,
Yes.
Cassidy,
Yes.
Grine,
Yes.
Mendoza,
Yes.
Guernsey.
Yes.
All right, we are adjourned at 6:27.